Good morning, great gardeners. Welcome back. We want to say thanks to everybody that came out and joined us for Pink Day. Everybody had lots of fun, so thanks for that. June is National Rose Month, so we're going to start out this segment talking about roses. We do have a great selection, so you want to come in and see those. Everybody's familiar with the double red knockout. We do have the double pink, which is quite striking. Those just came in fresh off the truck, so want to take a look at those. Some of the questions that we've been getting about the roses involve pruning, deadheading, I've got bugs, I've got diseases, so we'll show you a little bit about what you need to do to keep your roses healthy. First of all, we'll go into pruning. Here's a rose that it naturally will deadhead itself, but if you want to speed that process along, there's a couple ways to do it. When you have this cluster of flowers, go in and remove that spent one, and then allow the rest to open up. Here's another example of this entire cluster is gone, but you see you have a new flower bud coming on, so you come in and you prune. You always want to prune it at an angle so that when it rains or if the foliage or the plant gets wet, the water will run off of the cut and not down in where it will lay and can cause some rot and decay. Then as far as your insects and diseases, a lot of folks have noticed some holes in their leaves. They can't find anything. There is a little bug called a rose slug. It's not a true slug, but that's its name. It's nearly translucent. So then when it eats the foliage, it turns the same color. They're on the undersides of the leaf, very hard to detect, but here's some of the products that you can use for insects and diseases. For a great contact insecticide and fungicide, there's the Rose Pride. We really like the Bear All-in-One. That is a drench, it's long-lasting. It has the fertilizer, insect, and disease control. If you really have a problem with black spot, I think most people who have roses know what black spot is. This is a good fungicide for that. Going towards the more earth-friendly route, the Serenade fungicide is really good. And then a organic insecticide would be the Captain Jack's. We're really pleased with how this performs with most any plant. Another insect issue that folks have had problems with is bagworm. Now bagworm, that's not the tenty stuff that you see in the canopies of trees. Bagworms is the little cone-shaped things that look like, you know, pine cones or little ornaments. Generally you see them on evergreens, but they do occur on other things, on all kinds of trees. There's even a type that likes to eat grass. You'll see little teeny tiny bags hanging from the blades of grass. So keep your eyes peeled. According to the Beagle, the Buckeye Yard and Garden line, the bagworms have started to balloon, which is how they transfer from one area to another. They've hatched and they're starting to balloon. That happened last week in southwest Ohio, and they're saying the warm temperatures have kind of speeded it up this year, so keep your eyes peeled for in our area. The arborvitaes, those are particularly susceptible to bagworms, so if you have arborvitaes, either the tall upright or the rounded, just be cautious and keep your eyes peeled. If you do see the bags on there, you want to physically remove them and dispose of them. Don't just pluck them and throw them on the ground, because they're still going to hatch and still do their thing. So give them to your trash man, don't keep them around. And then as far as controlling them, two products that are very safe. This is BT. You'll mix this with water and spray. The key to using both of these is using it when the caterpillars are very small. That's when you have the best success. So right after they first hatch, this one you'll use them, and then you'll use them once again, you know, a week later, maybe even a third time. Captain Jack's also very good on small caterpillars. Perennials are a great addition to the garden. One of the things that you should do to keep them blooming much longer is to deadhead or remove the spent flowers. And we'll show you what we mean here on this new butterfly bush. It's called Miss Ruby. You can see the flower is stunning. Very, very pretty. But to keep it looking pretty, you'll want to go in and, like I said, remove the spent flowers. On this one, you know, you could just remove this right here and maintain these 2 flowers, but if you're short on time and you know you're not going to be getting out in the next week or so, you can see you've got 2 more flowers coming up here. So you can go in, remove it at this, again at an angle, clip that out. These are going to be your 2 new flowers. Deadheading really helps. Also then fertilizing, maintaining your fertilizing program. The Blossom Booster Bud and Bloom fertilizer is great. So just a little bit of maintenance, you'll really extend the bloom on your perennials and your garden will be much prettier. Alright, so then on to the veggie area. It's getting time to where everybody's got some buggy disease problems. This is blossom end rot on tomato. There are different reasons why you could have blossom end rot. Extreme fluctuations in moisture is one of the biggest factors. So you do want to maintain an even moisture. Obviously your tomatoes don't need to be wet, but following good watering practices, water in the morning so that you do not end up with disease problems, you know, the tomato leaf spot. So some of the things that you can do to counteract that on the blossom end rot, like I said, do maintain good watering practices. Use fertilizer specifically designed for the tomatoes. I use this Boma Tomato Tone. I love it. The fertilizer for tomatoes generally has a little bit of added calcium, which helps with the rot. On your leaf spot, whenever you see icky looking leaves on your tomatoes or any of your veggies, pluck those off, remove them, because it will help reduce the spores. Lots of different fungicides available. Daconil is a very good fungicide which you can use on nearly anything. But of course when you're talking about edibles, again, we like to go the more earth-friendly route. So the Serenade disease control is a really good fungicide. On the eggplants and on peppers and tomatoes, you've been seeing a little bit of flea beetle damage. Fairly easy to control. The Captain Jacks will help. The Earth Tone, the insect control, or the insecticidal soap. Really good sanitation is key on your veggies as far as insects and disease problems. So anytime you see bad looking foliage or fruit, remove that. Like I said, dispose of it, don't leave it lay there. If you've got weeds around, you want to maintain that because the insects will hide in the weeds. A good aeration. You know, if you have things planted way too closely, if you're like me and you get your tomatoes planted a little too close, you might have to even do a little pruning to get good aeration in the foliage. When you water, water in the morning, only water the bottom of the plant, don't water the foliage. That will help with many of the disease problems. And as always, if you've got any questions, bring us in a sample, we'll take a look at it, see if we can't figure out what it is you have going on and get you the right product. Last note on the insecticides and your veggies. A lot of people are familiar with the product called 7 and the Dust 7, and it is a very good insecticide, but what a lot of people don't realize is it's very toxic to bees. And when the bees come in and they're doing their pollination, doing their thing on your flowers, on your veggies, they pick up that dust as they're picking up the pollen, and they take it back to the hive. So it's not just killing that particular bee that's on your plant, but it does damage the entire hive. So be careful when using 7. Only use it if it's absolutely necessary. As I mentioned, you know, we can help you out as far as what insects and diseases you have, gear you towards the right product. There may be something that works just as well as 7 and is not so toxic to the bees. For everyone who planted their salad bowls, don't forget to keep harvesting those outer leaves, letting the new ones flush up so you have more salads to come. And we look forward to seeing you. Have a great gardening day.